props. And no wrestling ring would be complete without them either.
That's it! That's it! What are you doing?
When a wrestler's pretty girlfriend brings a trophy into the ring, you just know it's going to be smashed over someone's head. But taking a solid metal trophy to the skull night after night is a risk even these macho men aren't willing to take. Here's the secret. A prop trophy that's cut in half, then glued back together, is guaranteed to break on cue. Each and every time. One of the oldest tricks in the book is the salt in the eyes routine, where a wrestler throws a handful of salt into the face of his opponent. Aside from the danger posed by throwing real salt into someone's eyes, it's hard to see. So what's the secret?
Salt is not actually salt. It would usually be weightlifter's chalk or talcum powder or baby powder because it makes a cloud that you can see even up in the balcony.
But there are still more props in the wrestler's bag of tricks.
Those chairs aren't fake. I mean, you get hit with it, you get hit.
So how does a wrestler take a solid steel chair to the head and live to tell about it? There's a secret to that, too.
The chair is absolutely positively real. When someone takes a chair shot, the chair bends.
It makes a lot of noise, but it really doesn't do that much damage. If you hit the person across the broad of the back and he instinctively grabs the back of his head, the illusion of the crowd will be you just whacked him up the back of the head with a chair.
Notice how wrestlers always take time to fold the chair. It's not because neatness counts, it's part of the secret. First, he makes the chair as flat as possible. Then, he smashes the back of the chair into the beefiest part of his opponent's shoulder, where it won't hurt him. The victim quickly grabs his head in pain, and the audience assumes he's been whacked in the skull. But we know better. Now that you know the secrets of the folding chairs, let's check out the tables. They gotta be fake, right? Wrong. The tables are real too.
It hurts. There's nothing fake about going through a table. I mean, nothing whatsoever.
As Colossus and Brute Force battle it out ringside, they're really just setting up another scam. Let's see what they've got in mind. Just when it looks like Brute Force has gotten the upper hand, Colossus spins his opponent around and sends him flying. But if the table is real, how do they avoid injury? Here's the secret. The underside of the table hasn't been sawed through like you might expect. It's made of lightweight particle board, which is nothing more than pressed sawdust.
A regular standard 8-foot table made out of particle board is broken with about, 200-300 pounds pressure coming down on top of it.
We would like to put them through right dead center. Put them right dead center, this way you know it's gonna break.
The idea is to hit the table in the middle, at its weakest point. It's simple physics. Since the table is softer than the concrete floor, it breaks the wrestler's fall. But it sure looks dangerous to the fans, because they don't know the secrets. When we return, our wrestlers confess their darkest secrets, how they pull off their most devastating moves. The bulldog headlock, the leg drop, the backbreaker. It may look like they're killing each other, but looks can be deceiving. Plus, the truth behind wrestling's biggest and bloodiest secret. But first, another one of wrestling's fabulous fakes, the flying body block. When wrestlers fly out of the ring, the crowd goes wild. But this move could result in serious injury if there wasn't a secret. Here's how they do it. Skullduggery knows exactly when Slither will be winging his way toward him. So he's waiting with open arms to catch him and break his fall. Just another happy landing when you know the secret. At the end of a match, the blood is flowing, but is it real or just part of the act?
Juicing is causing yourself to bleed.
Hey, open the fist! Open the fist! Hey, open the fist! Come on, step back! What's wrong with you?
The granddaddy of all cons is when a wrestler is literally beaten to a bloody pulp.
Hey, out of your man's hair! Out of the man's hair! Hey, what are you doing? Hey, come here!
What?
What's wrong with you? What are you doing? What do you think you're doing?
Nothing.
Are you
Juicing is simply where the person cut himself in the ring and bleed, just to add more realism to that match.
Wrestling fans think that the All-American boy has bloodied his opponent's head, but he had nothing to do with it. From this angle, we can see that Brash Knuckles doesn't come anywhere close to the turnbuckle. So why all the blood? Well, most people think it's fake. Well, here's a secret you wouldn't expect. That's a real cut, and the blood's real too. But how did it get there? Let's take a closer look.
open the fist! Step back!
As the ref steps in to check on Brash Knuckles' condition, he secretly passes off a tiny sliver of a razor blade wrapped in tape.
Stay there.
How you doing, Matt? Here it is.
There's the handoff. If you didn't know where to look, you'd miss it. So much for the ref being impartial, but we already knew he was in on it. You may want to look away, because this part gets pretty gruesome.
Hey, what are you doing?
With the concealed blade, he secretly makes a small incision in the crease of his brow. He knows exactly where to cut.
The wrong way is taking a long, broad stroke across the forehead. That results in long scars. You can get tremendous injuries. The right way is you go to the bone and take just a little jerk. It will bleed profusely, and then 2 to 3 days later, it'll be healed.
It's hard to believe how far pro wrestlers will go to make the carnage look real and keep the fans coming back for more.
A finishing move is a devastating move. It's a move where the fans in that crowd are like, ugh. Damn, he ain't getting up.
The ultimate act of chicanery comes at the end of the match. It's called a finishing move, and it's guaranteed to bring the bout to a dramatic conclusion. One showstopper is called the backbreaker.
A backbreaker is one of the unusual finishing moves in wrestling. The whole trick to this being you're falling down on your knee and just barely placing him on the knee that's upright.
Watch as the two wrestlers hold each other tightly so their weight will be evenly distributed. Now here's the secret. Private Payne actually lands on his feet, not on his back, as he'd have you believe.
He feels no discomfort from this. It's a very easy move to take, and it's actually worse to the person giving the move than the person getting the move.
Worse, because Colossus has the job of supporting all their weight. Private Payne clutches tightly to his opponent so he can fully extend his legs. See how his feet take the impact. Although the illusion is a broken back, it's Colossus who's out of breath. Another spectacular finisher is the Hurricanrana. Slither tries to whip Skullduggery into the turnbuckle, but he ends up on the canvas. Skullduggery pretends to be dazed while Slither gets into position. Up and over, he buries him with the mighty Hurricanrana. And this match is over.
There are a lot of different variations of the Hurricanrana. There's no doubt about it. It's very risky.
It's risky, all right, unless you know the secret. Don't watch Slither, because he's not in charge here. It's Skullduggery who controls the move. Watch as he does a full forward flip, driving himself into the canvas. He makes sure to get full rotation so he doesn't squash his opponent. Meanwhile, Slither tucks his head in to avoid hitting the ring post. And that's how it's done. Another finishing move is the leg drop. It's an elaborate maneuver where a wrestler appears to knock the air out of his opponent, by crushing his